Okay. Okay, now it's live. Now someone could find it.
Yep, I can see it there.
Yeah. And I think it would still work if I close it, right? Sorry. Okay, that's good. That solves one problem. So we can get started, actually. I don't know how many people are going to be coming in, but well, so good morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the night to everyone. My name is Luiza, as you already know. It's nice to meet you. I'm gonna share my screen. So I'll do this first. So there are gonna be a few technical matters to be fine-tuned, I'll say, for this workshop to work. My decision on doing it online was, well, first for obvious reason, it feels safer, but also I felt that if we were doing it in person, there would be too much of a discrepancy between those that are in the room and those that are not. It would be very hard to do in-person specific help by keeping a distance. So let's say someone is having an error in their code and then I need to come and look, we would be very close. And also it would make it impossible for those that are remote to share a problem and ask for solutions. So there is one downside to it, which is the fact that people will be a little bit more exposed in a way. So let's say that you have a problem in your coding and you want to ask me a question. One way that we can do this is just that you would share your screen then, and then we would be all seeing the problem that you're having and discussing it and trying to resolve together. This is when we get to more coding ourselves. But the other issue that we might have is actually how do you see what I'm doing at the same time that you have R open? So you're gonna have to have two small screens actually. So have the Zoom small so you can see what I'm doing, and at the same time have R on the side. So unless you have two screens and you can have each of them in a different screen, this will be a challenge, and that's going to be a challenge for myself as well. But everyone,
are we using R or RStudio?
We are using RStudio. We're using RStudio, but yeah, you need to have R at the same time. So I am going to open R today so you have an idea, but that's even more of a challenge because RStudio you already have all of those little small windows in itself. So you're not only using the command window. But any questions so far? Everyone sees the slides? There won't be too many slides. I already sent, I don't know if everyone saw, I sent an email with a zip attachment, which has a very quick code for today, which I'm actually going to be doing more on it, and we're going to be typing together. And then I also added the code to Fernando's first class, and I added some data sets, which you can also access from the computer. But I'm first going to go through how do you load data that are of different formats. But before that, it would be nice to get everyone to introduce themselves. And one thing I forgot to put here is, would be good to know in which class, if you are in Fernando's or in Tom's class or in both of them. And I would really like to know what time it is where you are. So depending on what I find out from that, it might be worth trying to change the time of meeting. This is extremely flexible. I think as bad as it is to be attending a class in the morning of a Friday, I think this was the best democratic time that we could think of, because I know some people are very far east and therefore much further in their own schedule. But also, if I don't know if this is the case with you and you actually would prefer to do it even later, because on a Thursday you have classes until whatever is 4 a.m. for you there, we can also, I don't know, we can think of different schedules. I also would like to know how you think the fact that this class is online might negatively affect you. And for that, I mean, you have a bad internet connection, you have a noisy room, you don't have much privacy or anything I haven't thought of. So I can try to, I really want to do the best I can to make this class as profitable for everyone here and as leveled. So the worst thing that can happen for me is that someone can get everything out of this class and someone can get nothing because of technical problems. And also it would be good to know how much programming in general and R in specific you have done in your life, how comfortable you feel with R. And of course, for all of this, please just share whatever you want and do not share whatever you don't want to share, whatever you feel comfortable with. So I'll start actually. So I'm in New York, I'm nearby Bard. So it's 10 a.m. here. And I think this class being online, one of the problems for me is that I don't get too much of what's happening with you. So that's close contact when you can actually read what the students are thinking or feeling, and you can even spot when a student is not feeling comfortable to speak up and things like that are gone when I'm doing this online. So it becomes harder to be a sensible professor, so to say. So I really want for this to work. The best for me is if you feel comfortable with me, and if you're not feeling comfortable speaking up when we are in Zoom and live streaming and so on, do let me know, and we can also have more office hours and talk more in person. Well, in person, I mean 2 by 2, 1 by 1 actually, online and things like that. But this is the hardest part for me, really. And I want to try to minimize this problem. And I've done a lot of programming in general. My father is a programmer, so I grew up with a lot of programming around me. And I started using R when I started my PhD at the new school, and I mostly self-taught myself with online tutorials and Googling things and just doing as it goes. The very first code that I had to do was for a project in input output, and I've done a lot in input output in R. And actually the very first time I had to do R, I had absolutely no clue how to write in R, but I knew what a program is, I know what an algorithm is. So I had a friend help me, and he said, please just write in this paper exactly what you want your algorithm to do in a kind of computer language type of thing. And I did that, and then he translated that to R for me, which was extremely nice. And then from then on, I just kind of understood what was going on. So it's almost like learning a language through looking to translations of it, or like double language books and things like that. But it is a steep curve to learn, but at the same time, because it is a free software, there's so much help that you can find online. There is really any question in R, if you type it on Google, you're going to find an answer. You're going to find someone giving you an answer. And the main problem is actually you find too many answers to the same question. So one thing that happens after a while in R, you start bothering not on how I can do this, but how I can make this more efficient. How can I make my code run faster? And how can I make this in less lines and things like that? So then you start, fine tuning your programming. But this is not going to be a problem for a while, I would say. So whoever would like to go next, that would be great.
Sure, I'll go. Oh.
Go ahead.
So my name is Justin Fumey, first year grad student. I'm at Bard. I live on campus, so it is also 10 a.m. here. I think with this class being online, there's like less opportunity for like hands-on learning, because I have like like I don't really learn as well when I'm just like watching a video or something. So like, but like with these workshops, it'll definitely help with like I'll be able to like do the code alongside, and so like have questions like in real time. That'll definitely be a plus. Um, in the past, I've used Stata, so I'm kind of assuming that R is similar to that, but not very good at programming in general. So hoping to learn a lot more.
Thank you so much, Justin. Yeah, whoever would like to go. Oh, also, sorry, I never asked that, but please let me know how I would like to be called. If yes, that would be good.
Yeah, Justin's fine. He, him, his.
Thank you.
I can go next. So my name is Tom Strand. I don't have my video up right now because I'm in the quarantine at the hotel near Bard, and the Wi-Fi is very bad. So I was on my phone previously for the other classes, but I kind of need to be on the laptop to see the screen. But yeah, I'm. This is my first, I guess. I had some programming in Python for my numerical methods class in undergrad, but outside of that, I've never used R for a class. I've tried to dabble in it before, but never really gotten too far. So yeah, New York. I'll be on campus. What was that? He, him, his, and yeah, I guess if the Wi-Fi connection at my house is good, I don't foresee any big issues. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So you be living on campus or in the area?
On campus in Feitler House. I think there's 2 other people in the program that are also living in Feitler House, but I do not know who they are.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tom. Should I call you Tom or?
Oh yeah, Tom's great.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
Okay, I can go next.
Yeah.
My name is Angelica. You can call me Angie as well. Right now I am in Red Hook. I live off campus, so it's also 10 a.m. in the morning, and I have also no experience with R, just with Stata a little bit. So I'm looking forward to learn from all of you. And I use she, her pronouns.
Thank you, and your Angelica. So anything you think, any downside of this being online for you that you can think of? What are the problems you imagine facing because this is online?
Also, my learning process is harder when I am online. It's like easier for me to get distracted or follow the conversation. But yeah, I think that the combination with Fernando's class and this one will help me very much.
Thank you. Okay, so who wants to go next?
I could go next. Hello, everybody. My name is Simon. You can call me Simon, Simon, however you feel comfortable with. I use pronouns he, him, his as well. My programming background is really poor. I only had, I used Stata during my undergrad and during an internship. And I only had a very brief workshop on agent-based modeling in R, but I never used it for econometrics. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to connect the workshop to the class of Fernando. And yeah, I think I have similar issues as Angie and Justin and Tom that, yeah, it's a bit hard for me to study with the video lectures, especially if we have to do practical things or like this programming class. But yeah, I think we'll make the best out of it and it will be fine. I'm currently outside the library, public library in Berlin. It's 4 p.m. and the time works well for me.
Thank you so much, Simon. Who would like to go next?
I could go.
Thank you. Who?
Am I audible?
Yes, I hear you.
My name is Probin. I'm in Nepal right now. That's Asia. The time is 8 p.m. And this works fine for me as well. Downsides of this being online, I cannot particularly think of anything apart of those already shared. Programming, I've not done any, and R also nothing at all. So the most I've done is I've used Excel pretty much. So the most I know is whatever is done in Excel. There is giving logics to, I don't know if I can call that logic. So I wonder if that is going to be a problem. Did I miss something? Yeah, my gender pronoun he, him is.
Thank you so much, Prabin. And yes, I would say there is some logic in Excel. Of course, it depends on how much you're doing, what you're doing, and it does help. My background when I started with R was also just Excel. This was my first like real hands-on programming. Besides having an idea of like what programming is, I did some on C++ before, but that was like really way before. So yes, I think that does help. So don't worry. And again, for those that have no background, there is also office hours. I'm here exactly to help you and bring you to the level that you need for this class. I can guarantee you, you're not going to have a problem in the class. Okay, who would like to go next?
Is it okay if I go next?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Hi, my name is Bev. I joined with 3+2 program. I was originally a math major, and before coming to this program, and I'm also living on campus, Stone Row. It's like at the heart of campus. So yeah, it's also 10:19 over here. And how can this class? I think this class can negatively affect me, similar to what Justin said. You don't get to interact as much or do in-person activities. So yeah, that's one negative aspect to it. And how much programming do I know? Back when I was a math major, we would use latex. And so I'm very familiar with like latex, but also for undergrad, we use Stata for econometrics. So these are like the only two programs I know.
Okay. Can you please repeat your name? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, its before name is pronounced Bethuel, but you can just call me Beth for short. You don't have to pronounce that. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Mhm.
Thank you so much. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, I'm gonna go. This is not on the slides, but I am gonna talk a little bit about Stata versus R, because I think this is gonna be a big one. Everyone does know Stata, and when it comes to latex as well, I'm gonna say something about it. Okay, who would like to go next?
Can I go next?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Adama. I'm currently in South Korea. The time is actually 11 at night. So yeah, I mean, the time difference is really huge from my side, but I think it's okay since I'm a night person, so I don't really have a problem with the timing for now. Let's see how it goes. I have no idea about R actually. I think so far my experience has been with Stata. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, so it's 11 p.m. And you are gonna be there for the whole semester? Yes.
Yes.
And if I may ask, how are you dealing with the other classes which are in the middle of the afternoon and therefore middle of the night?
Yeah, so it's like I have classes twice a week, and it's like it starts from 10:30 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning.
So you're kind of leaving in the night, or you're gonna try to watch the video?
No. Actually, I attend class. I prefer attending class live. So I just decided to make sure I've rested well during the day and stay up at night.
Okay. We could, I mean, I don't know how much it would help if it's like 2 hours earlier or not, and how much it would affect the others. But if you are mostly doing the night, I'm not sure. We can, let's talk a little bit about that later. Let me get the time of everyone else. I knew this would be a challenge, and I'm
But
sorry for you.
I think if it's just me, like I think we should just go ahead with the interest of the majority, because I can always make good use of the office hours anytime with you.
Yeah, and I can definitely, I did create a specific office hours, but as I said, like if you are in a different time zone and you need to do an office hour when it's the evening here, when it's really early in the morning here, that's not a problem at all for me. We just need to schedule it beforehand. I could even have set some kind of office hours specifically for those that are further east. So those are for now in Nepal and South Korea, and try to have a specific day on the week when we do that. Okay, who would like to go next?
Okay, I'll go next. Hello, everyone. My name is Nishchal Dhungel, and I'm also from Kathmandu, Nepal. So right now it's 8 p.m. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this workshop. I have never learned R programming before, so I'm expecting that I'll get to learn a lot, and which will help me in my in doing assignments and pursuing other economic model in this R programming.
Okay, and should I call you just Nishal or?
Yeah, it's fine. Nishal.
Thank you, Nishal. Who would like to go next?
Hi, my name is Jason. I live off campus. I'm currently commuting between upstate and New York City because I work in the city. I'm currently in Brooklyn right now. Same time zone as everyone that is on Bard campus. I go by he, his. I don't know so much about programming. I did do an intro course in Python, but it wasn't really successful. I was more confused than ever. But I do know HTML and CSS and stuff that relates to web design. I don't know how similar it is. I do know Excel, but other than that, concerning the programs, like if it's similar to Python, then yeah, I would definitely need help. The pros and cons of this, I think for me, I'm actually grateful that it's recorded, because like many of us here said, like I do get dozed off because I'm on my laptop and sometimes I get a notification and I'm like completely in a different world. And because it's recorded, I can actually go back and actually see what I missed.
Okay. One thing, so I had this one professor that would say he didn't use slides in his class because it would lead people to engage with postponed learning. So you are in class and then you're like, oh, I don't need to pay attention to this now. I'll just go through the slides later. So I think there is kind of this double edge on this problem of being recorded, which is great. Yeah, you can go back, but at the same time, it makes you think, oh, it's okay if I don't pay attention right now. I can go back and watch, except that frequently you won't. So just, yeah, everyone, if you, it changes from people to people. For some people, that's a good thing. For some people, for me, myself, it was always a problem. Whenever I was like, oh no, okay, I'll go back to this. I never actually necessarily go back. So I like to try to engage in the present a bit more. But yes, they are always going to be recorded. I will make them available. I am still not sure how long I'll leave them there for, but at the same time, even if I make it private later, I know I can still give you an access to it. So no worries about that. I don't want to make it private and public and just leave it there on my YouTube forever for anyone to access. But I haven't figured out yet the details of that. But I'll let you know how that's going to work. But I can promise your faces are not going to be there for the eternity. Did we go through everyone? No, not yet, right?
Hey, I'm Tyrone. I'm here in New York. I'm in Tivoli right now. It's 10. I think the online class will be fine, and being able to go through stuff again, I think will be useful. I've done some HTML. I did a data visualization class when I was at the new school. I kind of want to know when you were there, Luiza. I was there from 2014 to 2016.
Okay.
And I tried to mess around with R with some stuff online, but I never had a reason to use it, so I never really got very far. And I used Stata in an econometrics course, but I was really bad at it. And then I'm really good at Excel, so I'm hopeful and nervous about this.
Okay. I was at the new school from 2013 through last year, actually. What were you doing there?
I was in the urban policy grad program.
I see.
I think I might have seen you there, maybe.
Have you met Flavia?
Yes, from Brazil.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
She was the class after me, but I was her TA for the policy, the project class.
Okay, so there is one connection there. Yeah, it's always through the Brazilians. I'm Brazilian, if you all don't know yet. But yeah, otherwise I don't think I know anyone from that was on urban policy that much, at least not at that time. Okay, who would like to go next? Or have we gone through everyone? No, not yet, right?
Yeah, I think we have.
We did.
Okay, great. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people, and I'm guessing we have 11 here because I'm one of them. Great. So now actually there is one more person. Well, I can't see the name. There is one last person, but I can't see the name for some reason. So whenever you do show up, if you do want to speak up, feel free. If you do not want to speak up, also that's okay. So let me start by just talking a little bit about Python, Excel, Stata, LaTeX. I think those are the ones that came up. Well, HTML, but that I wouldn't know much of. I think of all this, I think Python is what would be the closest, although I do not know Python really. And I know that Python is used much more for other things. So R is similar in the language to Python, supposedly. Really, that's what I heard. My husband uses a lot of Python, and I've been able to help him before when he gets problems, although I have no clue what's going on in general. I am able to work through a code in Python. And so there is a similarity in the language there, but the applications are very different. You don't usually use Python for statistics, and you don't use R to make a website or make, I don't know, Python is very used for machine learning as well, I know. But so that's one. LaTeX. So one thing I'm considering doing at some point is doing one session on R markdowns. So an R markdown is something that is going to create an HTML, and it's a mix between a text and a code. And you can decide what parts of the code are going to be exposed there or not, and what outputs are going to be printed in your HTML. And it's extremely helpful if you want to. I think this would be the neatest way of presenting your results. So if you want to do if you would like to do your homeworks in a markdown, I think that would be beautiful, but it's definitely not necessary. But it might be worth doing that. So when you're doing a markdown, the text part of it is going to be very similar to a LaTeX. And then you would have chunks of code in the middle of that. And then you can produce a output, which is an HTML that has parts of text, parts of codes, whatever you want, and outputs of the code. But otherwise, yes, LaTeX is very different from R. So the programming chunks of it is going to be very different. Stata. I actually came the other way around. I started with R and then I had to do Stata, mostly because Fernando is the most advanced Stata person I've ever met. He's like those people answering on all of those blogs, and he's really a Stata programmer. He has done his own packages and things like that. So really, he's the biggest authority on Stata you're probably gonna ever meet. So when I came to the Levy, I had to adapt to being able to work with his codes, which are Stata. And it definitely helps. So I can tell you from coming the other way around, knowing R has helped me with Stata. I'm sure knowing Stata is going to help you with R. One trick when you're beginning on Stata that is very helpful, at least for me, is that so Stata has this mix of being a programming language, but it's also a software. You really could possibly do everything by pressing buttons. So you can do the things by pressing buttons on Stata. And what is amazing on Stata is that when you do by pressing buttons, it still is going to print out the code line for you. So you can kind of learn by using it. And as you use it by pressing buttons, you kind of learn how to program and how to write the programs yourself little by little. And that's not the case with R. So if you have just R, if you're running the program in R, you're going to have the commands and you're going to have the outputs coming out. And there is not really any buttons for you to be pressing. When you're using RStudio, it's a little bit closer. The interface is going to be a little bit more similar to a Stata interface, but it's very programming heavy. That's mostly what you're going to be doing. And the logic is similar in many ways. But there are certain things that you can do in R that you can't do in Stata, and vice versa. And also when you're using the conversion of it sometimes is also a problem. So at the beginning I was like, no, you're doing in Stata, I'm gonna bring the things to R and then I'm gonna bring it back to Stata, and then eventually it's like, that's not gonna work. And the main problem I would have is with labels. So the labels in Stata are not easily transported into R, although we have something called factors that we're gonna get to, but it's not necessarily gonna input into R that well. So the formatting of the data itself is different in both of them. Any questions so far with this? Any questions about Stata or even Excel or LaTeX or something, and about R in general? Okay, so.
Hello, Lisa, sorry.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask, like, how many hours is this class?
How many hours total, you mean?
Yeah, like no, like each class.
Supposedly 2 hours, but I mean everything is adaptable here.
Okay.
But the idea was to go for 2 hours.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so today, first I'm gonna show you a few resources in R, and then do a very basic R. What is R? How to import data? What is a function? And then if we have time, and hopefully we do, I don't know if you saw, oh, I forgot to ask that to everyone. Is everyone here both in Fernando's and Tom's class? If not, please do let me know in which one you are, or if you're neither of them. Okay, so I'm assuming everyone is in both of them.
I think there were only 6 of us in Tom's class, correct?
I'm not in Tom's class, only in Fernando's.
Is everyone in Fernando's class? Is there anyone that is not in Fernando's class? Okay, I actually have this information on an Excel sheet that I created, which I can look into after. It'd be easier, but just to have an idea. So,
I don't think I'm in Tom's class.
Okay, so what? Okay, that's good. But I don't know if you already saw on Moodle, Fernando created a folder with our programs there. And there are programs which are related to chapters. So the first one is for chapter 2. And the idea would be to go through that one today already. And in general, I'll follow those because I think that's what you're going to need the most. But next week also, Tom has only 2 codes that he goes through, and they're very basic, and they're also very good for you to learn basics of R. So I'll go through those next week, and then we continue going through Fernando's codes, which are going to be important for the homework and things like that. And then as it goes, I also have access to his homework, so the assignments that he's sending you, and I'll be going through those and knowing when they are due and what you need to know to be able to deliver the results that you need to deliver. And also the most important thing that he asked me to help you, which is very simple, is just how to export specific data from a model. So when you run a model, all this data is going to get stored in R in a certain way, and how to access the specific things. How do I get the R adjusted and things like that? How do I present that in a table? How do I export that into a format that I can use to then present? So that's really simple. He said that this is what students over the years struggle the most, in his opinion. Okay. So in terms of resources, I've sent you on the folder I sent you today, there is this slides, and these are a few of the resources. So the R project webpage, and now we're going to start having. So when you am I still sharing? Google Chrome. Okay. Now you're probably seeing my Google Chrome.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the R web page, and I mean, you already been here because you downloaded R, and there are a lot of information here. But the main important things in this web page I've already added there, which is the manuals. So when you go in the manuals, there is a lot of info here, and an introduction to R is a very good one. And you can go through, they also have the appendices of it, has some exercises, a sample session that's kind of interesting to go through. I haven't thought of going through that, but because Fernando is needing such specific things, I actually decided to just go with his code. And I'm also going to show you, you can access this also from our studio itself and have it in one of those windows, which makes it easier to go through. But here it is. So it's a short code that you can go. So when you do this help start, that's also going to give you that specifically in R, and then you can go through the code itself. Then we have the publications. So this is really a lot of publications related to R, and it's just kind of a inventory of it, and you can access all of them. So anyways, again, if you want to go through something specific, you can look for those things. I'm more of a learn by doing kind of person, so this is not the type of thing I go towards much. I mostly look for specific resources whenever I have one specific problem, and then I research on that. But this also might have specific things that you need to look into, and this is a good really reading list of anything you might ever need in R, and everything is open and accessible, which is good. And then you also have a list of the packages. So currently there exists about 16,000 packages, and you can look into the available ones by date of publication or sorted by name. So this is a list of all the packages that exist in R. I'm gonna explain better what is a package. And you can click in one of them, and then it's gonna explain to you what it is. I'm specifically looking for one. that's not even there. Anyways, so when you go and click in one package, it's gonna give you the reference of the package, and you can go into that, and then it's gonna explain what the package does, what are the functions that are there, how you use the functions, and so on. But I'll get more into what is a package soon. Any questions so far?
Do we need any package for this course right now?
Yes, you will need a bunch of packages, and I'm going to explain to you how to install them. It's super easy. But also when you have any specific, I already uninstalled all the packages that we need. Whenever you update your R, you're going to need to reinstall the packages. But whenever you open a code that has a load or a library package, which is what loads the package for it to be usable, it's gonna tell you, you need to install this package. There's gonna be a bar on top letting you know, and then you can just install all of those. But I am gonna go through how to install them. It's super easy. It's just a line code, install packages, and then you add the name of the package and it installs. But also, whenever you quit an R section, those packages are going to be inactive, so to say. So whenever you want to use that again, you always will need to do library and call the package that you need on that code. I'm also going to show that. So there are two steps of a package. Once you install it, you don't need to install it ever again unless you update your R. And once you close your session, you always need to call in that package into the library. Other questions? Okay, so then I've added here some blogs, and so there's our bloggers, and on the blogs, one thing that is good is that you can get help. So the our bloggers actually has some, it's mostly also resources and has like small tutorials on things. So you can get tutorials on different things, how to do graphs and so on. By the way, this is one, I would say one of the biggest advantages of R is it's great to do graphs. It really is much better than Stata in my opinion. It's very flexible, and also you can make very pretty graphs, I would say, and that's important for me. But Stack Overflow is really what I use the most, because anytime you just get an error message or something on R and you put it on Google, it's usually going to take you into a, so let's say, how to install packages in R. Well, that's too basic of one, but you see you get R bloggers coming up. But when you add some kind of error code in Google and you search that, very frequently it's going to take you to a Stack Overflow conversation, and then people answering, and then different solutions to different problems. We're going to, whenever we have a problem, whenever we get some kind of error, I'll go in there. Okay. And then there's also Quick R, which is also very heavy on the tutorials, which is very good as well. You have a whole session on books and tutorials, which are always, yeah, it's always helpful. Any questions? Okay, now I need to actually go back to my. So what is R? R, according to their own website, is a language and environment for statistical computing and graphics. So when thinking exactly as I was saying before, the main difference between R and Python is what is the application of it. So this is a language that was thought specifically for doing statistical computing. That's why it is one of the most used ones in economics. And so it's very similar to Stata in the sense of its application, what it's used for, but it's very different in the sense that it's free. So the fact that it's free, it's a language that has a lot of people are always adding to it. So besides being able to find a lot of help online because it's free, you also have the whole package thing going on where people are adding their own packages to things. And it becomes much easier for packages to be released because of that. So to give you an example, the main survey that I use in Brazil, which is the household survey, they have a specific package with their name, which is PNAD, and you can download that package. So install that package in R, and that is going to do everything for you already. So instead of having to go on their website and downloading the data and then loading into R, there is a package where already will load the data for me, and then there's specific functions for running those things there for surveys. So this is one of the best things in R for me. It's very, people contribute a lot to it and report things very well. So it's very easy. And the downside of that, as I already mentioned, is while people are doing a lot of it, there are many different solutions for the same problem. So there are different packages. They're going to have the same type of functions. Sometimes they're even going to be called the same. So sometimes you're going to have two packages installed and a certain function exists in both of them. So when you're calling a function, it kind of doesn't know exactly which one it's calling. And there are solutions for that. I'll go into that later. What else? Yeah, any questions? Okay, so let's open R. And by saying open R, let's open really R. And then after, I'm going to move into R Studio. And this is the only time you're going to see me looking into the R, just so you have an idea of how it looks like. But otherwise, it's always going to be R Studio. And when I say R, I just mean R Studio. Just take it as R Studio from then on. But let's look first into the R application and how it looks. And actually, one thing I forgot to ask. I am using a Mac, and I'll be using a Mac the whole time. I'm assuming most of you are going to be using a Windows computer. Is anyone else in a Mac? Just so I know.
I am.
Okay.
I also am.
I am.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, so we have apparently 3 Macs and then a bunch of.
I am too, Tom.
Yeah. Okay, so I have like 4. So I have, wait, so I have. I have Jason, I have Angie, I have Michal, and I have Tom.
I also am Justin.
Justin. Okay, good. I like you. Give me less problem, but so there will be. So this is going to be a challenge as well. Sometimes there are certain things that are different in a Mac and a PC in the language. The main one is the working directory, actually. So, and this is more of a problem in Stata, actually. That was the main problem I had when I joined the Levy, was adapting all the codes to be able to read what I'm inputting in a Mac and not in a PC. But sometimes you're going to have, I also have problems when I'm using a Mac and someone is using a PC in terms of importing data. One thing for those that are not from the US originally and have things written in different ways or certain things that are different. So for example, in Brazil, we use the comma to express the decimals and the point when you get to the thousands, which is the opposite here. So when importing data from Brazil, sometimes it's gonna mess up completely. Or the dates, I never understood why, but here it's month, day, year. Everywhere else, it's gonna be day, month, year. So when importing that as well, if you are in the US, even if you're using a Brazilian data, sometimes it's gonna understand as if it's American. So this can give problems sometimes, just so you know. I've had, like, helping people before, I've had someone come to me with an Excel and saying, oh, my professor said I need to buy a new computer because the Excel is not understanding this, this, and that. And then I was like, no, you're just having a problem with decimals. And then just like, it's a very small. So sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's very challenging to not be American in the US, because some people don't even know what types of difference there exist. So always remember that. So if you're not here, this is one place you might get errors from. Just in terms of debugging, every now and then you're gonna need to think, where do I start my debugging from? So this is one thing to have in mind. Otherwise, yes, so sometimes I don't know, a CSV file in a Mac, when you go to that into a PC and then you try to import that into your R, it might have changed something and then it doesn't understand. So I would say the loading the data and the working directory are going to be the biggest problems in terms of being in a PC or a Mac, but I'm not even completely sure because I haven't worked in a Windows in a very long time. But this is also, as we go, remember that this is one issue. What else? Okay, so let's open R. So you see my R?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So this is R. So you have this window where you're just gonna give comments to it. So 2 + 2, and it's gonna tell you is 4. And really you're directly programming here. It's gonna tell you something. So it tells me what is the directory I'm at. So this is telling me that if I try to save something or load something, it's gonna do it in this folder for me. So if everyone goes and do a get WD on their own, and remember to put the parentheses, it's gonna tell you what working directory it is. And this is a good way of having an idea of how to write a working directory. You can always get it first. So I know I need to start with a bar like that and then put all of the folders and let it know where to go. And I think for a PC, this might be a little different. I'm not sure if the bars are the other way around. It might be. I know that in Stata, the bars, actually a PC is much more flexible. You could use either way the bars and it understands, and Mac is only one specific way, which is super annoying. So if you do the help start, as I said before, when you are in R, now you're not even seeing. So when you are in R and you do that, it just takes you to the browser and it's gonna open it there, which is not ideal in my opinion. Same thing if I do a plot. I don't have any objects here. Let's do. So here I'm creating 2 objects, an X and a Y. And then I can do a plot. X, Y. So it's gonna open. I don't even know if you see. Do you see the plot coming up in my screen? So no, right? Because so in R, it's gonna open a new window that looks like this, doing the plot for you. While in our studio, this is going to be a specific window within your, it's going to be shared. I'm going to open our studio soon. So these are some of the differences when you're just using R. And I don't know, for me, it's very non-intuitive to use the R. And now let's open our studio so you can have an idea of the difference. So basically, R Studio is a software that uses R language. So you always need to have R in your computer to use R Studio. What happens?
Do you need to have both of them open, or can you just go straight to R Studio?
You can just go straight to R Studio. You don't need your R open ever. Sometimes when things are going wrong with your R Studio, you might need to even reinstall your R. And if you reinstall your R Studio should be already using the most recent R version you have in your computer automatically.
You have 4 windows open on your R Studio. I only have 3. What is the top one with the library, parentheses, Woodbridge, library, Excel? What is that window?
This one.
Yeah.
So this is the program I have. So let's go ahead and close it all. So you have it like that.
Okay, yes,
Everyone has it like that. So now, okay, that's thank you so much. So let's open a file. So basically before I do that, sorry. So this window here, the console, that's exactly what we were seeing when we just had R open. So the main difference is that R Studio is going to give you different windows where those things are going to be happening. So now if I do the exact same thing, X is...
Hello, Lisa, can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Which version of R are you using?
It should be, if you just installed it, it should be the same. There is a get version.
Okay.
Because version.
I was wondering.
I have the 4.0.2, and everyone can check that just using that code.
Okay.
If you don't have, this is the latest version. I just reinstalled it this week. If you don't have that version, you can just update it. To update it in a Mac, you just really reinstall the newest version, download it, and I think it should be more or less the same on a PC, but you just go back into the website where I gave you the information on how to install it and follow the directions to update instead.
Thank you.
So as I was saying, so now, for example, when I go with the help start, which was the first thing we did there, right? This is going to give me things here, which is really good. So if I go on the menu and introduction to R, I'm already looking at everything here. I can go into the Appendix A, which is a sample session, and I can just look into the things that are in the code there and go ahead and, I don't know, just do them and see what's happening. So this just created a random normal distribution of 50 numbers. If I click, oh, actually I can't. So let me do something here. So if I transform that numeric vector that was created, and now we have that on our values. So X is just a numeric vector that goes from 1 to 50. This is what this is telling you here. And if I make that a matrix, so matrices are things that you can click on, and then it's going to open here.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you type in X space and the rest of it, does having a space and not having a space matter? Because I know in some programs there's a discrepancy where it's sensitive with spacing.
No, space is not, it's not sensitive to spaces. It is sensitive to lower uppercase. So if I try to do X and I do R norm, 50, it's gonna say could not find function R norm. So it needs to be without the uppercase R. okay? So this is the only sensitivity it has. Even if you are on your, even if you write a code and you jump a line that is a continuation, it's gonna go through with it. I'll show you it later. So not even jumping a line on your when you're writing your code is gonna be a problem. So
how did you open the window above the console?
So this window here opened because I decided to view my data. So I just viewed the Y that I just created, which is this object, which is a matrix. So I can't view values. So when it was just a numeric vector of numbers, I was not able to view. So that's why I created a matrix, just so you see that anything that is on your data, on your environment here, when you click on it, it is gonna open on this window. And that can be annoying because eventually you start clicking on a bunch of them. If it is a very big data set, when you click on that, that can take a while to load. And eventually just have thousands, at least for someone like me. I'm one of those people that if you open my Google Chrome, I eventually have 100 tabs open. And that's exactly the same with my R. When you open my R, I have thousands of tabs open, and they're usually data that I've been looking into, and then I never go and close them. So if I can give you a tip on what not to do is open a bunch of them and never close. That's not great. So you can see that this little window here in the bottom, it's a very flexible window, and it's gonna change depending on what you're doing. So now if I go, so I created a Y. Well, let's just do, can I do So now when I plot X and Y, and really X and Y are the same values, so that's why you're just seeing a Y equal to X function here. The only difference is they have different types. One is numeric, the other one is a matrix now. You will have the plot coming up on this window. And if I go back to help, this is gonna be on the last help I was. If I go on packages, this is gonna tell me everything that I have in my library right now and things that I want to uninstall. So the list here that you get when you click on packages, the list that you have here is packages that you have installed on your R. So this is going to be different for everyone, although mine is very, very basic right now because I haven't, as I said, I just updated it for the class, and I also uninstall things. And
the ones that are already checked, those are like pre-installed, that's standard for everyone.
So those are the ones that are in your library right now. So base will always be there. So base is the R base package, is the one that has all the functions that come with R. So once you download R and everything, that will come with the base package. So let me take a step back and explain what a package is. So a package is something that someone or R themselves or people working at R themselves produced and have functions in them that have been pre-programmed that you can call upon. So for example, you have the function sum, and the function sum basically just sum things. This function has been pre-programmed. Someone actually went through the trouble of saying, let's do something that is called sum. And what sum does is that it takes the arguments in it and add them up. So what you have, so the syntax for a function is always going to be the name of the function and then parentheses. So a package is basically a bunch of functions pre-created that when you install and when you have on your library, whenever you call it, this knows what to do. This is going to do whatever someone pre-programmed it to do. Another thing that is very helpful is when you do question mark sum, this is gonna open the help of the function sum. It's gonna tell you which package this is. This is in the base package. And then it's gonna explain what it does. Sum returns the sum of all the values present in its arguments. And again, the arguments are the things that go inside here. And then it's going to tell you what type of arguments you give to that. So this takes numeric, complex, or logical vectors. And then NARM so NA is going to be a value that is missing. So you could even try to sum something that has NM, that has NAs, if you say true here, and you would remove those NAs. Because if you are trying to sum up something that has NAs and you do not remove them, it actually is going to give you an error. It's not going to be able to sum. Then it goes on details, how it works. And at the end, you always have examples, which are super helpful. So if you didn't really understand, but how is this doing that? What are the arguments exactly? I don't understand the syntax by just looking at that. It's not as intuitive. You can always go in the end and look into the examples. So this is summing. Those two things are going to be doing the exact same. Well, those are all doing the same thing, actually. So basically what this is doing is it sums from 1 through 5. This is going to sum the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's exactly the same thing. That one is going to sum the numbers 1 through 2 and then 3 through 5, which is also the same thing. This one is going to try to sum the numbers 1 through 5 and then an NA. And as I said, when you have an NA, nothing is going to work. So this is trying to sum 1 through 5 with an NA, and then it doesn't work. So if you want to actually sum something that, oh my God, that has an NA, you need to remove that NA. So NA.RM means NA remove. And then when you say true, is that it's activated this option of removing NAs. If I had it false, if I have it false, it's going to give me back the exact same thing as before. Another thing that is helpful is if you click on your arrow looking to the top, it brings back the last line of code. So I can just go ahead and take this false off and do true, which is very helpful because sometimes you just, I don't know.
Can you repeat that again? How'd you get the last line?
You press your arrow up. The arrows up, left, right. Oh, yeah, that's in a Mac. In a PC, might be function up, or can anyone check for me? If you are in a PC, can you just press up and you also get it?
You just press up, yeah. There's no other
So
button.
just press up and it's gonna give you the last one. That's a little, you can do the same, yeah, I guess, yeah. So when you are on Stata, is the same as doing function up on a Mac.
Luisa, so what does NA.RM means, or RS?
Sorry, forget the RS. That was a typo that I did that I don't even know why it worked. But the NARM, so NA is a value that is missing. So for example, I could have, let's create an object here, which is just a column 1 through 5, comma, NA. So, sorry. Let's do it again and make it a matrix so you can see. So if you click on the X now, do you see this? So this NA, this just means that this value is missing. This is a missing value. So the 6th entry of this is something that it's not understandable. It's a missing value. So if I try to go on and sum, it's going to give me an A. So when I do a sum of a vector or of a matrix, it's going to sum all of the values in that. So the way to go with this is that, well, one, I could just go and sum between 1 and 5, and that's going to give me. Okay. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. Or I could do that and say NA.remove equals true. And what this does is that it's going to sum all of the numbers there and ignore the NAs.
Okay.
And this is important because sometimes you're going to import a data set, which is like a big survey or something, and it's going to have a bunch of NAs, and you just want to ignore those for a sum or something like that. Sometimes you're also going to actually remove the NAs or change the NAs to zeros. There are different things, but NAs are a pain in the ass. It's really a problem, and you always need to think of them.
Thank you. And you also like set equal NA RM equals to false.
Yes, so when I do false, it says that it's not ignoring. So let's say now that what I need to do is sum them, except if it has an A. I do want to, so if I have a huge data set and I really do not want it to sum, to ignore the NAs, I can do that. And then it's going to tell me there is an NA.
Okay.
So sometimes you do not want to sum. If there is an NA, you actually want it to give you an NA. Or something like that, because you could be doing also, there's also column sums, row sums, there are things like that. So if you have a matrix, you could be summing just parts of it, and it's helpful for you to actually get it back. But and this is valid for every function. So functions sometimes have multiple arguments, many arguments, and you can see that in this case, the sum of x and the sum of x NARM false give you the same result. This means that this argument here, NARM, the standard is that it's set to false. So if I do not say anything about NARM, this doesn't mean that this argument is not being taken into account. It is being taken into account. It's just being taken into account as if it is false. So here you can see that should missing value, oh no, sorry, it doesn't say in this one. It usually will say when it's describing the function for you and it has the arguments and it has plenty of arguments, it's going to tell you what is the standard value of something. So you could, if it is NARM false, you can just drop that and you don't need to add that to your code. So it's a cleaner code. Okay, so now let's all go on and open the, well, maybe we should do a 5-minute break actually, so everyone can breathe and do a quick bathroom break. What?
Can I ask a really quick question?
Yes, of course.
So like, while importing data to R, I see that like for me at least, I can only import data with CVS types. Is that the only type of file that can be uploaded in the programming, or can we use other type of?
No, you can update, and you can upload a DTA from a Stata. You can upload a.
I can or can't.
You can.
Okay.
But the function that reads that is not on your base. So we're gonna get to that soon. So actually, when you do, so let's do a 5-minute break. But if you can come back and already have on the files I sent you. There is the class 1 for students. If you can have that open. And now I'm also answering you. Oh my God. Was it not Justin? Jason, you had this question, right? What comes up in this window here?
Yes.
So one of the things that comes up in this window is your R code. So an R code is something that you pre-coded, and then you can just run line by line on your console without having to type it all. So this is a pre-written code.
Okay, wait, so okay, so I see CVS data, XLSX, and Stata data. So these are the only 3, right?
No, there are different ways you can, these are the most used ones that I thought would be important. But yes, I mean, I won't say you can upload anything, but you can upload multiple different extensions. It's just that doesn't necessarily will be something that is pre-coded. So it might be a specific package.
Yeah, right. That's what I was asking. So are these the only systems that are pre-coded? Like,
the CSV is the main one. Even the XLSX is not. It's not on the base. This is a different package. The DTA is a different package, and so on.
All right. Thank you.
But yeah, so let's do a 5-minute break. Open up the code that I sent you, and we will start with that when we come back. I am back if anyone wants to ask anything, but I'll wait till everyone is back to continue.
So were you in the econ program at the new school?
Yes. Yeah.
Was it good? I want to do a PhD after this, and so that's one of my options.
I really liked it. There are many problems, which I think are going to be even worse now with the pandemic. Mostly, they don't have that much funding. That's very demanding. So it's very hard to be a student there because it's expensive. I had a scholarship from Brazil, but otherwise it would have been impossible for me. And then, then at the very end of it, so once my scholarship was over, there was a lot of teaching at the same time that you're writing a thesis. So I was teaching, like, adjuncting 5 classes at the same time as working on my thesis, which can be absolutely insane. And on top of everything, you're in New York, which is already in itself a lot of distractions and expensive. but it was absolutely worth it. And it's a great program. It's a very good program. I don't know how it's gonna be in a year or two, because I know they're going through a lot of financial problems right now. They were already in a lot of financial problems, so this only made it worse. Like every university, right?
That's a bummer. Yeah, they offered me like half or something, and so it was better here. The funding's better here.
Yeah. It's still a lot, yeah.
Maybe another time, but I'd be interested if you know of other schools that you considered or that were also good that you know of, because I'll be looking soon.
Yeah. Oh, we can definitely have a chat about that, but I also applied for Amherst. But that was it. That's all I did. But I mean, there's UMKC, which is also a very good program. And
Which would you have to double PhD in that, which is weird. Which one would you have picked for your second?
I don't at UMKC.
Yeah, you can do your PhD in economics, but then you pick another one also, like in math or in sociology or something else also.
Yeah, I would probably go with something like sociology or philosophy or something like that. Because I actually did take some classes, or politics. I did take some classes at the new school in the philosophy and politics department. But yeah, Utah also, I'm really just telling you programs where you have a bunch of people from the new school that went afterwards to teach. The program in Utah is also interesting.
Yeah, that's okay.
Not as many heterodox programs in the US. It's insane. It's a very, otherwise in the UK also there's many options.
Will they do funding for people from here also?
Yes. So when it comes to masters, it's very hard to get funding. When it comes to PhD, I would say go abroad, apply to many of them, because all of them have at least some funding. Some of them are only going to accept you if they can give you funding. Actually, the new school is trying to move into that. NSSR is trying to do that. So last year they only approved like 3 people or something like that, which is, even if you can pay, they're not going to let you in, because they've been having so many problems with students that cannot afford. But yeah, for PhD it's normal, I think, throughout the world to have funding.
Oh, okay. It'd be fun to go somewhere else. I'm sick of the US. I want healthcare.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you speak other languages then?
No, I live here, so I don't.
Yeah, because that's something else. Like if you wanted to go to Brazil, for example, well, now it's also getting hard, but we also do have funding for PhDs and things like that. But then you need to learn Portuguese, which is crazy. But there are some programs there that are in English, but mostly the Orthodox ones. The heterodox community is very, very big, but very Brazil-centric, I would say. Yeah, but we can talk about it and think of some programs that would be good and that would fit. That's the most important thing, because they really do look into the fit when they're accepting you or not. It's like sometimes, so for programs that are heterodox like the new school, I know that when they are considering applications, it's going to be more important to be a fit, that you make sure that they know what you're going into. You know what is heterodox economics. You have a professor there that will be able to work on whatever you're working and things like that. That's more important in accepting you than having a great reference letter or having great scores and things like that. Because it's so peculiar, you know? So it's good to try to find the best possible fit for you to apply, because that's going to be very important in actually getting funding.
That makes sense.
Okay. So everyone has the program open, or let's do it differently, because otherwise no one answers. Does anyone was not able to open the program that I sent?
Which file are we supposed to open? Because I see like 7 different.
Class 1 for students. And when you open it, make sure to open with RStudio. So if you double click on my computer, when I double click our programs, it's already going to open automatically on RStudio, but you might need to actually set up for that to be your standard. Do an always open with, so it opens with RStudio, or go open with and then do RStudio. And then you should have something kind of similar to this, except that your console is not going to have all of these things maybe. And then you can go ahead and clear here, so your environment is empty, so you don't have anything saved there.
Where did you click for that?
On this little broom here. So the very first thing you would have to do is open a Finder or a, how do you call those? Oh my God, that's gonna be horrible. Me trying to speak Windows language. But go into your folders, and whatever is the folder that I just sent you, it's gonna have a few other things there, which are data sets. So let me, let me change this again. Oh my God. I wish I could just share my whole screen. Share, I don't know how to share the whole screen with you, so I don't need to be changing. I can share the, if I share the desktop, do you see everything? Are you seeing my Finder now with the folders?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's great. So that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be sharing my whole screen, and be careful with what I have open. So if you go on the folder class 1 that I just sent you, if I go here and I do, well, let's do on a data. So this is gonna be one of the datas. And I go on get info, and in a Windows it's gonna be slightly different, but that's gonna tell you where this is. This is the path that you're gonna need to give in the set WD. In my case, I've put it on Google Drive, and actually Google Drive itself, I'm not sure if I can, is a volume. So it's as if it is a USB key. So the Google Drive itself is a bit weird because you're gonna need to use these volumes first. But if I was doing, if I was on my desktop or something like that, then I don't even need to give the Macintosh HD. It's gonna be users, user, and then whatever it is. So let's go into my RStudio. And I can go on and set the WD. In my case, it's 2 volumes, and then whatever I had there, Google Drive, My Drive, Levy classes, and so on. So whatever you saved the folder, class 1, you're just gonna give the path to it before that. So you're gonna change this first line of the code. So this part of it, you're gonna keep the class 1 because that's the folder, right? Unless you rename the folder or something. So it might be on your downloads folder. I think the best would be for everyone in the class, maybe create another folder, which could be called R Workshop Fall 20, and have that somewhere that is always going to be there, and you always add things to there, so you don't need to every single time be giving a new name to your set WD, because that can be annoying, just writing that and getting that correctly. Does everyone understand this part?
So like to set, like to do what we are doing, we put like set WD and we open parentheses, put quotations, and then copy like the information of where the document is in our computer.
Yes, except that in Mac, you can't really copy and paste because it's going to give you those little arrows things. which are so annoying. So you're actually going to need to type it in a Mac. In a PC, if I'm not mistaken, you can actually just copy and paste it in there within the quotes. So it's actually easier.
You can also use the third button to the right in the top, right? Little folder thing to open things.
Well, yes, but what I'm doing here is not really to open something. I'm telling R, whenever I say read something, write something, whenever I'm going into uploading or downloading things from my computer, in which directory, in which folder it's looking for those things.
Okay.
So if I go open here, yeah, you're right. I could open something here, or I could import something using this import here.
Because that's what I did, and I have the top left thing that looks exactly the same as yours.
This, yeah, you opened this file, yes, but now what we're doing is gonna be, so this is not gonna be to open AR code, this is gonna be to import and export data. So what we're doing here, it's not to open a whole code or open a whole data set or load something. This is just so R knows where to look for things and where to save things. So for example, if I created an object, which is X, and then I go on and do write.csv X, x.csv, this is gonna save a file called x.csv, and that file is gonna be saved where on my working directory. So which is class 1. No, it's not. Right now it's not. So once I run this line, then it's gonna save it there. So before I ran this line, it actually saved it on user, it's probably here. I don't even know where it was before. Desktop maybe? Anyways, I don't even know. So this is what this is gonna do. So when I write something or when I read something, it's gonna do it from the working directory. That's what WD stands for. So then after you run that line, when you do get WD, you should get what it just wrote. Was everyone able to do that?
So I have a question.
Yes.
So I guess when you were talking about set WD and you type it in the console, it will pull up the class that what we have above the console. Is that correct? Like if we didn't have that class 1 for students.r above the console open, and we type in set WD in the console and then give the link, then that would open.
So if you do this and paste it here and just run that line, right?
Yeah.
That's not gonna open class 1. This is just setting my working directory to the folder class 1. So this is saying that whatever I do in R now, when it is looking inside my computer or saving things in my computer, this is where this is gonna be accepted. And one thing I didn't tell you, so this is the code, right? The way you make that, you don't need to copy this and paste and run. You just go with Command Enter and then it runs, or Control Enter and then it runs, or you can also use this one. This just runs the first line of your code. If I press this is gonna run all of it.
And it's only if the address is the same as what the actual file is, because if we copy and paste what's on here now, we don't actually have it in Google Drive, My Drive.
Yeah, so
That's
let's.
your directory.
Yes, that's my directory. So that's the main part. This part, the set WD, I will never be able to write that and send that to you, because this is something specific to your computer, and this is going to be different for a PC. So this is why I'm saying the best you can do now is whatever things you're going to need for this class, put them in a folder that is always going to be the same folder, and already set this WD and have this code line for you done.
Oh, I was able to do it with my cloud because I have Apple, and I was able to just copy and paste over from the get info. And instead of having the little arrows, it was able to just convert it to the slashes.
So it worked for you.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, for me, it doesn't do it. That's even better then. So for example,
sorry, I was not, like I set my directory into like, to set my directory in the computer, but I was not able to do it. So you said that I can drop my, pull my folder from my desktop to the console, or
no, you need to do, so go on whatever is your folder.
No, I already like did that.
And you've got the info and you have the line.
Yeah, but
and
it doesn't.
And it doesn't work. What does it? Do you get an error?
I get an error. Yeah.
What error?
It says error in set W, and then it like, yeah, it copies what I have in quotations.
So can you paste on the chat the code line that you've inputted?
Yeah.
No.
And this is the response that I got.
Drop the Macintosh WHD on yours. Just start with usuários, Angélica.
Okay, I will try it. Thank you.
Works. Maintaining the first slash before usuários.
Okay. No, it's not working.
Same thing?
Yeah. I will try later, don't worry, but thank you so much.
I have a different error code.
So, oh my God, why can I? How do I? Oh. So can you do one more thing for me, Angélica, first? Do get WD and parentheses and tell me what to get. Like that.
Okay, let me try. Let me copy and paste.
Yeah. Okay, that's the problem. So go with user / Angélica / I guess it's gonna be descargas, but it might be download. I don't know. No, that's.
I will try again.
Yeah, and also apparently you shouldn't have the Angélica uppercase. So this is a good tip of like first see where you are and see how the syntax of your own computer is. That might help you a little bit. Yeah. Someone else had a question?
I have a different error code. It says error / U used without hex digits in character string starting C : /U.
Did you use the quotation marks on it?
Yeah, could it be the same thing with capital letters?
Do the same thing. Do the get, use the get WD first. Because the beginning of it is always going to be the same. Yeah, so then you're going to do set WD, and then you're going to do everything that is there already. I guess where so is Tyrone that is having a problem, or is it Nishal that is having a problem? I'm now confused, sorry.
I was able to do it. Yeah.
You were able to do it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Okay.
having a problem.
Is that Tyrone?
Yeah.
Okay, what is the set WD that can you give me the line code that you gave?
Yeah, I put it in the chat. And then the thing that I typed in is this.
Do you have two class ones? You have a class one inside a class one?
Yeah, I created that folder before I downloaded anything, and then that's also what they called it. So yeah, there's two.
One inside the other.
Yeah.
So
I
you
copied it from the directory.
So what you're doing is set WD, and then exactly what you just pasted there. Is that how you're putting it?
Yeah, I'll copy the full line.
See users. Oh, I know what you have. You're using like that, and you're supposed to do it like that.
What are you showing right now? I only see your folder that says Google Drive.
Oh, you don't see the chat?
Oh, sorry. Yep. Okay. So you're saying that I had the wrongs.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see on your when you did the get WD, you say C /user so on. What you pasted first was what you had on the get WD. When you do get WD, what?
Yeah, that's the user's Tyrone documents.
What is the direction of the slashes that you get?
The way that you're telling me to do it, I think.
Yeah, so try that and see if it works.
I just tried to copy it from the folder, and it does it
Yeah,
on Windows.
it's a bit annoying. I don't know why. This is an annoying step because it's not that straightforward and it's different for everyone.
I think it worked.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Angelica, did you get it? No?
No, not yet. I will keep trying, but you can.
The Targas is still. Yeah.
You can't leave me behind.
Try to go one next step. So try to just get to the descargas before you get to class one and see, or try downloads.
Okay.
See if you write downloads, if it works. I don't know why it's giving you users instead of usuarios. And when you get the info, it gives you usuarios.
I wonder if I should like change the language of my computer so it can all be in English. Maybe that would be easier. I don't know.
It feels like a lot of, we already do so many adapting moving here. We want to set a bar somewhere. But okay, so now that you did that, you all will probably have things like that. Packages foreign, Woodridge, and XLSX required but are not installed. So this is happening because I have a library Woodridge here and I have never installed it, and so on. So there is this one code line here. So this symbol here, the hashtag symbol, makes me comment out. So anything I write here, if I write this, if I try to run this line, actually it's gonna go ahead and keep going. But you see that this does not actually try to do the same thing as if I write this here, which is not even gonna understand what it is. So if my code is running without problems, if I wanna put notes for myself in the code, I will just do, put this comment out symbol here, which in our language is a hashtag. This is how you comment out code chunks. And then you can go ahead and use the install packages. So here I left this commented out. So you would see that it gives you that you need to do Woodridge. And then instead of just pressing install here, first let's run just install packages Wooldridge. What this is gonna do is that it's gonna install it for you. And you see it's working here. And then it downloads it. So the package Wooldridge, I was not precise on something earlier. A package has functions, but it can also has data sets attached to it, which is the case with Wooldridge. Wooldridge has a bunch of data sets, and this is the most of them that we're going to be using. So this COSAL1 is a data set within Wooldridge. And if I do this, actually, it's going to give me an error. So this is the code for help. It calls help. But there is no documentation for it because I haven't called the library Wooldridge yet. So although I have installed my package, I'm still not able to do anything that is within the Wooldridge package because I haven't run the library. So one thing you can do is if you do the double, it's actually going to tell you where this is. So whenever you try to get a help and it doesn't find on the documentation, if you do the double question mark, it's actually going to do a more broad search. And then it tells me that this is on Wooldridge. So there is this 2 data sets there, and then it's going to tell me what it is. So now if I run the library Wooldridge, the next line, if I try again to do the question mark COSAL, it actually gives me the help on that. Let me do this because you are seeing yourselves right now as well, right?
I have a question.
Yes.
So when you're typing in the class document above, does it automatically go in the console or do you have to type in the console?
No, you need to press Command Enter. So when I do Command Enter here, it goes directly into the console. Or Control Enter if you are on a PC. Or run, so if I run this, it's gonna run the whole code. It's gonna go line by line. But if I run this, if I press this button, it just, oh, actually no, this runs the previous. Oh no, yeah, sorry, I'm so sorry. So if you do the run, this runs the current line or selection, which is the same. And it also tells you what is the shortcut here, which in the Mac is the Control Enter. So this runs one line of code. That one actually reruns the last line of the code. And if I keep going here, it's gonna keep going on my lines. And you see I get an error when I do library XLSX because there is no package called XLSX, but we're gonna get to that. So as I said before, whenever you open a code that has library things, if it's not installed, the easiest way is just go and install this, and this is going to automatically install all of the packages that you need. Or this means that you need to also add a line, which is install packages Wooldridge, which I definitely wouldn't actually add it to the code itself, because as I said, you only need to do it once. So you could just type it in the in the console window. But I left it there for you to be able to comment out and just run it. Once you do that, this exists. And this is, as I said, when we run here, it tells you what is the object COSAL1. It's an object within Wooldridge. It is a random sample of data reported in May 6, 1991. And then it's gonna tell it's a data frame with 209 observations of 12 variables. And this is what are the variables that you have there. Okay. So now there are a few things you can do with this. So now this data exists. And if I want to call something on this data, I can load into my environment. A way of loading into my environment is just creating an object. So every time I do this syntax here, this means I am giving to the object, which I call whatever I put on the left side of that. So this is an object. I am giving this object the value that I put on the right-hand side. So that's what I did with the X before. So this is saying create an object, call X with the value 4. That's what this arrow here is doing. That's what the syntax of this means. Is someone talking? No. Justin, you're asking a question? No. Okay. No. So one thing I can, so right now what I'm gonna do is I actually created beforehand with this data set, CEOSAL, I've created different formats of this data, the CSV, the XLSX, the DTA, and the R data. And I sent all of those to you. So you can see if you had, instead of having this data in a package, which is the case here, if this was a CSV, if this was an XLSX, and so on, how would you bring that into your environment? So the first one I'm doing is I'm just adding to my environment this data, which is in my library right now, and making it appear there. So when I run that, I'm saying, give to the object package data the value of CSUAL1, or actually is rename this object CSOSLA1 as package data. This still exists. It doesn't make this become that. It just attaches this value to this object. So now you see you have your data here.
Question.
And, yes.
When you call the package data COSAL1, does it automatically go to the file, the CSV file, or does it load both the CSV and the XLSX? Or
no, this one here just loaded it from the package Wooldridge, which is in my library now. It hasn't looked into the CSV or anything.
Okay.
Okay, that's gonna be the next line. So now, and again, the same way that I can ask Excel what the heck is an object, a specific object. So in this case, I was asking Excel, sorry, R, what is CSO? Oh my goodness, I hate saying that. What is this data set? And it gives you that. You can always do that for a function as well. So how does the function read CSV works? And if I do command enter here, it opens in the help that. And then it gives me, so this is, oh my God, why does it give me that? Here, read CSV. It's actually on the package utils, which should already be loaded for everyone. It's also a basic one. So if you go and run this line of the code, CSV data, read CSV, it should create an object. And this is only gonna work if you set your directory correctly, because now this is actually looking for this object in your working directory. So if this file does not exist in the working directory you have right now, you're not gonna be able to run this line. You're gonna get a code. You're gonna get an error. But for those that thought that they had set it directly correctly, were you able to run this line and get an object here that looks exactly the same as the other object there?
I did it, but it wasn't able to read the file.
What did it say?
It didn't say error either.
But it didn't add something to your global environment?
No, it didn't.
It supposedly ran. It went through the code here, normal.
I'm gonna try what you wrote down in the console.
Luiza, can you please copy and paste that command in the chat if possible?
This one?
Yes, thank you so much. Just if it's not a big deal. If not, thank you.
But this is, did you get the working directory working?
Yeah, just because I had to do it like manually
Mm.
through the folder that is like in the upper left part. Thank you for asking.
Do some people get this working and get an object created here that is called CSV data, or no one got it working?
So if I type in !read.csv, the file doesn't load. But if I type in CSV data arrow-read.csv, then it loads at the console,
No,
down in the console.
No, this is not. Oh, this doesn't load?
It loads. It's just a !read.csv. I thought that was a command. So then.
Oh, no, that was just to open up the help on read CSV. Sorry. Okay. So now if I try to do this one, it's not going to work. If you try to do the next line, because actually there is no function read XLSX. And the reason why is because this belongs to a package that we haven't installed yet. So now you can go ahead and install the packages that it's telling you to install. Otherwise, you can use this command here and adding within quotation marks XLSX. So it could be this XLSX. And now it's going to install again. And then you can do the same. If you're not getting that bar on top, that's how you do it manually, foreign. And then once you install these packages, you should be able to also run the lines of the code library and library. So you need to run those two lines as well. Otherwise, it's still not going to find the function read XLSX. So now when you run this line, it is also going to read. And again, I just created different versions of the very same data in different formats. So at the end of running this code, all you're going to have is a bunch of objects that are exactly the same. 209 observations of 12 variables. So this is just to tell you how do you load, or what are the codes to load different formats: CSV, XLSX, DTA. So the XLSX, reading XLSX belongs to the package XLSX. So I can remember now who was asking before about reading different, was it BAT or reading different formats? And the way you do it is that depending on what is the extension, there is going to be a package specifically for reading that extension. Foreign is a package that has the function read DTA.
I wasn't able to load the library XLSX or foreign.
Did you install the packages first?
Yes, I installed everything.
And it ran the install it, it gave you something like this on the code?
Yes.
Did you put, I don't think you need a quotation mark here, but that might. Can you try doing it like that?
Okay, I'll try.
Were you able to load library Wooldridge?
I was not able to download that one, but I was able to download the Excel one.
The Wooldridge you're not able?
No.
No, the quotation didn't work either.
What kind of error do you get?
Unable to find any JVMS matching version, quotation null, parentheses null. And then it has like no Java runtime present, try request to install, error package or namespace load fail for XLSX. dot on load fail and load namespace for our Java details call fun open quotations lib names comma package name.
Go here, go on your packages window here and look for LSX. Is it there?
Yes, yes, it's there.
Version 0.63.
Yes.
But the library doesn't work?
No.
I uploaded a picture of the error to the chat. I got the same thing.
Also got the same error. Wow.
Me too.
Wow. Anyone was
That's-
able to?
Yeah, I was able to download the Excel one, but not the other one.
What happens when you try library? Did you install it as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my chats. Oh my goodness. It's not here. You got the exact same one when you tried without the quotation marks, right?
Yes.
Excuse me, Lucia.
Yeah.
I got this. I got the same error that Tom sent just now.
Okay. Huh. So apparently you need this Java installed. Let's try this. Where's my R? Mm. Is this gonna work? I don't think this is gonna do it. So I guess you need to install the Java apparently. And I'm guessing all people having this problem are on a Mac. No one on a PC is having this problem, right?
Well,
Having a similar problem on a PC.
But it's slightly different error than the.
I am in a Mac and I didn't got that problem.
Yeah, so probably you have Java. Java hotspot.
Do we need to install the R Java interface, the low-level R to Java interface?
I tried checking that box and it still didn't work.
Where's the chat? Chat. Error package or namespace load failed for unload failed load namespace for. Have you tried this? Java home cannot be determined from registry. Wait, let me see something. Okay, so I guess you need this R Java. But maybe you're gonna also have a problem with that. So if you go on your packages and you press and you put Java, do you get an R Java one?
Yep, we see that.
If you do library R Java, do you get the same error?
Yeah, you get another error. Yeah.
What if you do a install packages R Java? This should prompt that. That would update your R Java, so maybe that's the first thing to try. And then try again load R Java. Sorry, library. Oh my God. I'm assuming you're gonna have the same problem, but that's the easy fix, so let's try.
Yeah, I had the same problem, same error.
Same, but it downloaded before having the problem.
So I'm guessing you're gonna have to manually download this Java thing. It's so annoying when I don't get the same error because it's much harder to work through. Reinstalling R. Manually download the 64-bit version of Java.
So I did manually download it and installed it, and now I don't have the error anymore.
Okay.
So I wrote, I guess, library, open parenthesis, XLSX, close parentheses, and press enter, and there was no error. Does that mean it loaded?
Yes, supposedly yes. You can do, if you type this, read.xlsx, does it give you this no documentation, or does it prompt something in the help window?
It prompts, gives me the help window.
Yeah, so that worked. It means it worked. So you have the package. So I'm guessing everyone will need to just download. Did you go on the website to download it, or?
Yeah, I'll send everyone the link where I went. Apparently you have to create an account to download it, but I found it on the R community thing.
Okay.
I'll send you guys the link to the thing on the chat.
Great.
And then is in the chat the link that I used to download from Oracle. Apparently you need to create an account, though it's free.
Okay, so I think this is actually a good point to stop and have everyone do that. once we're done, like, I mean, finish class and then everyone can try to solve that problem. So you would, I don't know if everyone understood. So you will need to manually download the 64-bit Java, and that should solve the problem. And then you can reopen your R and run it again. Once that happens, if you have installed the package Woodridge, the package XLSX, and the package foreign, and then do library all of them, you should be able to run this whole code. And just so you know, what you're gonna get is basic. Well, let me first, I'm gonna need to, I think I already installed all of them, but I need to redo the library for all of them. So then what you're gonna have after, I'm gonna clean this just so you see. At the very end, you should have all these objects. Okay, no, that's fine. This is a warning message. A warning message is different from an error. So this is something, just so you know. So this is telling you, and this is what I mentioned before, cannot read factor labels from Stata files. So this is telling you that if you had labels on that data, on this data, this is not going to be imported with your data.
Okay, so I was able to open the XLSS file, but when I click in the Stata data, it gave me an error.
What error?
Unable to open file, no such file or directory. But it's in the file.
The same name and everything?
Yeah.
And you do have, when you do, again, if you do this, read.dta, and you run that, it prompts that, right?
DTA. Yes, that works. That goes into, I guess, the help file. It shows up like that, but it can't read the file.
And it is on the same directory that you have that?
Yes.
That's super weird.
Oh, wait. The file on here is R data. .r data, not
this is the one, it's the load
DTA.
Huh?
So what,
yeah. Not, sorry.
Sorry, no. Let me try something. Oops.
Make the DTA not capital, that might work.
The DTA not capital?
Yeah. It's okay. You're not getting a object here called Stata data, right?
Nope.
I couldn't read, like, it wasn't working when I put question mark read.dta, but when I wrote read.data, so data, it worked out. Maybe you can try that out.
Can you put that in the text message so I can see what you wrote?
Just to add a data here, but that's so weird. What is the, but Angelica, your problem might be that, do you have the library foreign? Did that work for you?
Which one?
This line here, library foreign.
That doesn't work for me.
Yeah, so you need to first install, so do install packages, do that. I'm not gonna do it, but. And then try again the library foreign.
Okay, thank you.
And is it Jason having a problem? I'm sorry, I'm very, no. Who is having a problem?
I'm having a problem. I could not install Java.
You couldn't install the Java. Did you,
Yeah.
did you go on
I
the
just sent the file, the installation file that I was downloaded from Oracle to the chat message, says uploading it now for those Mac users. It's for the Mac. So the file's up. If you guys want to download that instead of creating an account, that's what I got from the website. It's on the chat. See if that works for Mac users. And then concerning the stata data, I still can't read the.
Yeah, otherwise you can go.
data.
So basically you need to download the 64-bit Java version. That's what's going on. You can also go here, but then you need to, oh my goodness. Did you try doing that?
Mine's downloading right now.
Okay. But, well, who I had? What about the person not being able to do this line of code? Was that
That's
so?
me.
Not yet, right?
Not yet.
Do you want to share a screen so I can see what's happening? Or you don't want to? That's fine if you don't want to.
So I created an account for Java. Oh, is that the java.com download? Is that it?
Yeah, I uploaded it on the chat for everyone. If you're a Mac user.
Yeah, so if you're a Mac user, Jason already uploaded the file that you can download without having to do the account thing. If you are a PC user, then I send you the second link is for you. I think you need to then create an account to download it. And then you will need this 64-bit.
I can share my screen, but it says host disable attendee screen share.
So stop share.
Okay, I downloaded it and I no longer get the error with the library xlsx command.
Okay, good. Oof.
I can't share my screen yet.
How about now? Who can share? Oh.
Okay, I can share now.
Yeah, great.
Oh wait, let me just see. I think it's this one. Okay. 1 second. Okay. Huh.
No.
Okay, now I can. Yeah, okay, let me look for it. Ta-da. Okay, share. So this is what my error is. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm. Oh, but you're doing the, okay, so take off that R.
Which R?
No, okay, no, wait, calm down. Stata data R DTA, go to the left a little bit. Oh, wait, I need to, this is something I never told. View options fit to window, otherwise it's just a mess. It's so small. Data. Enable to open file, no such file or directory. Do a get WD 1 second so I can see.
Okay, yes.
And you do have the file csoal1.dta.
Yes, I do have that because and all the other packages uploaded.
Then you try doing the same code line as the, oh, you did. No such file or directory. That's so weird. So try doing read.data as Angelica suggested. I don't know why. No.
Like this?
No, data instead of DTA there.
Oh, like that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's. Oh no, but that and then.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, this. Is it this one here?
The Java link that you shared, Luiza, is not the right one. I think you have to go to the community website, and then you have to start an account, and it's a different download, I think, for developers. Once I got that one in, my error is now gone.
Are
But
you
the
in a
first one did
PC?
work. What's
Or
that?
are you on a PC or a Mac?
A PC.
Can you share the link of where you went so people on a chat so people can go there? If is anyone else still having a problem with the Java, or has everyone solved the Java problem?
I'm still having a problem. Like I'm unable to download it.
Are you on a PC or a Mac?
I'm on a Mac.
Did you try the link that was Jason that sent it?
Yeah, like I tried that link, but I installed that, but that did not work. The link that you sent.
The link doesn't work?
Yeah, like it works, but I installed that as well, but it's not working after installing that.
Did you, so you're not doing the library, or did you try to install again the package, install package XLSX, and let me troubleshoot you 1 second. So when you go on packages here and you put Java, do you have the R Java there? Oh, actually, I don't, you're not seeing my screen right now. So if you go on packages on the...
Do you want me to unshare my screen?
No, because I'm not done with helping you, actually. It's very weird. So if you, I don't understand. This makes absolutely no sense. Because the read DTA not found, that's fine, but unable to open no such file or directory. Can you do something, copy that users/JSON, so on, that line that you had from the get the, oh, now it went.
I understood what happened because
Now got it.
it was on my cloud folder and the file didn't download from the cloud, even though I did. I just realized that. Sorry about that, everyone.
That's totally
I
fine.
can stop sharing now.
So who was the person? I'm so sorry. It's so hard to keep up with the people just coming up with voices and me trying to figure out the names. Whoever was trying to troubleshoot for the Java problem. I still have one person with the Java problem. Who was that?
That was Nichelle.
Yeah, it's me.
Can you go, wait, let me share my screen again. Or maybe if you feel comfortable sharing yours, you can also do that.
Like I could not install Java. I had to create an account in Oracle and then download it.
But you did download it, or you still were not able to download it?
No, I was just creating the account. And like the file that Jason sent me, it's taking a lot of time to download.
Okay.
It's heavy. It's around 200 plus MB.
I see. Yeah, I mean,
but yeah,
once you are able to download it, then it all should work. Maybe
okay, yeah,
or something. And if you don't, if that doesn't work, so mainly what I would say now, because it's getting a bit late, I mean, I'm fine with going a little longer, but I want to let people go if they want to go, is I would like everyone to be able to run this code with no error. And at the end of it, have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 objects in your environment that are exactly the same. That's
okay, yeah, we can.
That's what I would like everyone to be able to do for today. And
okay,
once we hang up, and I can continue with some people if you still want to troubleshoot a little bit with me, but if you want to go, what I would suggest is, given everything we did today, just try to be able to go through the class 1 for students code, remembering that the install packages lines are not there. So this might be one thing you need to do, or it's going to prompt you to install with a bar on top here. But I wanted to be able to run those lines of the code and end up with this output at the end of it. And if you are not able to do that, contact me and then I can troubleshoot personally in office hours. But I can keep going a little bit longer. It's just for those that want to go or those that already were able to do that. And I know we've only did extremely basic things, but also part of it is getting all our set up to be able to run easy stuff. So for example, this Java problem, getting that solved and being able to have everyone with a working code so that next week we can go through the class, the class 2 file, which if you also want to do on your own. So I also sent you the class 2 our code from Fernando, which you are also able to download from his Moodle page. And if you want on your own as well to try to run that, that is great. And then you can let me know if you have problem and I can also help you run that code. But I am, my idea was to go line by line on that code to explain to you what's happening there. And I also was gonna show you how to make functions and create objects and little things that we never got to, so basic things. But yeah, setting up your R is usually the most annoying and difficult part because people get many different errors.
With what we learned today, we'll be able to like do the homework, or a part of the homework.
So for the homework, what you're gonna is, when is the homework due?
I don't think it's due this coming week. I think we have one more R class before it's due, right?
Yeah. So the main thing you're gonna need so there are a few things you're gonna need. You're gonna need to be able to do the library Wooldridge because the data is gonna be there. And then let me open here the chapter 2 in R. So this is the other code I sent you. So if you are able to run this code, you should be able. So basically, what you were gonna need for your first homework is to run the LM function. Where is it here? Oh my goodness. Here. So you need to be able to run an LM function. This is not going to work right now because it's not going to know. What is what? So all you're going to need to be able to do is run an LM code, LM function, and be able to read it, which I'm definitely going to go through next week.
Perfect.
But if you run the chapter 2 code in itself should also run for everyone, and this is a good test for you to try. And if you do run that, you would be also able to run an LM function. The only thing is, if homework number 1, the data that you're going to be using for that is a specific one that he tells you on the homework. But we can next week go through the chapter 2 code and also run the LM that you need for the first homework. We can do that together. So everyone has that. So you can answer the very first question that we're going to have in a homework that requires an LM, that we can do that one together so everyone knows, and then from them on. Because I don't want to also be just giving you all the answers to your questions, but we can run the very first code together and do it together.
And can we save the commands that we did today in our computer, or how do we save what we were able to do today?
You mean save the console?
Yeah, the console. Thank you. Or the things we downloaded, they will always be downloaded?
I mean, if you run it again, so if you just save the code, if you change things, so this is what I would do. If you need to change things or add things, you can always add here, and then you can save that in the end. And then when I open again, and then you can just run everything.
Okay.
I want to restart. But yeah, also that the install packages, once you have it installed, either comment out from your code or delete it from there, really. You don't want to be reinstalling packages every single time. It's very annoying.
So what happens when you put like that sign before install?
This comments it out. So this means that if I try to run this line, this does nothing. This just prints as a text.
Okay.
So this doesn't transfer to the console as an actual code. Where are we?
The warning message about not reading Stata files, is that normal?
The warning message. So that warning message is just telling you, let me run here so you see. This one, right?
Yep.
Just telling you that it doesn't read the labels.
Okay, that's all right.
That's all right, yeah. This is what I was mentioning before. So on Stata, you can add to your variables things that are called labels. So it tells you, so instead of just having the name, you know what they mean. So it's kind of it's almost like a clue for you. So it's an observation on the data. That's what a label is in Stata. And we don't, and that's something that is very hard to actually import into R. And factor, there is a type of object, which is a factor that you can attach to your data, which works like a label. And we're going to get to that later. That's very useful for doing graphs and things like that. So you can do graphs in different levels. So you can, I don't know, maybe if you have a data, instead of having a binary which tells if someone is a male or a female, you can actually make that into a factor. So you can subset it easily. It's very good for graphing. We're going to get to that later. But this is just telling you that it's not importing the labels as factors.
This was really good. I'm so appreciative for this.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much for all this.
Yes, thank you very much. This will be very helpful.
And please do let me know if you have, I mean, I know for some people this is going to be even frustrating if you have some level of R already and then being stuck at one error that it's hard for me to troubleshoot that easily, and then everyone is waiting on that. Feel free to, I don't know if there is, I can be more specific going on forward now, and now I have a better idea of who you are, what you need, and so on, and I'm going to know what are the classes needing. I can let you know well what I'm going to be doing, so you can decide to skip a class or something if you think this is really not work for you. I'm not going to be frustrated or anything on you. If you have a certain level of coding already, that might not be helpful. And still, even if you do not come to the class because you think this is too much and too many information that you don't need, you are still going to be able to contact me and ask for office hours. Do not feel like because you didn't come, you do not deserve to be on office hours. That's not the case. I'm still going to be available to troubleshoot you personally, even if you feel like you don't need to follow this. I'll still help you.
We can also get used to saying our names maybe before we speak, so then you don't have to, match voices to who's speaking and stuff. That'd probably be helpful.
That's a great idea. Sometimes, so it also depends on what I'm looking at. So if I have the little screen here with all of the faces, when someone talks, sometimes it prompts and just gives me the person. But sometimes I'm not even with my Zoom window open, so I don't see that. And then I'm really just trying to match voices. And in general, I'm good with learning the names when I have faces in front of me. Let's see how I do with recognizing voices. That's more.
Yeah, that's difficult.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone is free to go, but if you have any questions, if you're still having some problem here and you want to know something, I am here.
Thank you, Luiza.
Thank you so much.
I will go and
Thank
maybe.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So just also, if you want to try to go through chapter 2, this might be a good exercise for us to do, is just kind of try to run the codes before class, and then we can go line by line. And if you have, so this, yeah, I think this might be a good idea. So since we're going to go through chapter 2 code next week, and I already sent you, if you can try to run the whole thing, and we can troubleshoot personally throughout the week, so I can get everyone being able to run the code smoothly, then we can do a class next week where we're running it and then going line by line and then explaining what was done. I think that might be a more fluid class. What does everyone think about it?
You want us to try to install chapter 2?
Not install, just so open the chapter 2 file after this and then run the code, go line by line and run the code. And there are certain lines that are actually going to get errors. So this help search, I think, I don't know, is this the one? I don't know. There is a couple of lines that, yeah. So you might get warning messages, but you won't get errors. So also, yeah, remember, a warning message is different than an error. It's normal to get warning messages. An error is an error that needs troubleshooting. So just see if you are able to run this whole code on your own. You don't need to understand it. You don't need to understand the heck this is doing at all or to interpret it. I just needed to be able to smoothly run it. So then we can work through it next week. And then if you can't run it, if you run into errors, shoot me an email, and then we can either try to help you through email and get it solved, or we can schedule office hours between today and next Friday to troubleshoot it personally.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I think that's it for today. We're probably all either really tired and ready for bed or hungry for lunch. And it was great to meet you a little bit more, and I'm very excited about working with all of you this semester.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day or night. Bye, everyone.
Have a nice night, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.